agreements and he releases the title to me, right? I've got a consignment agreement that I'm going to sell that boat for $30,000, and then he's going to pay me 10%, $3,000. So 27 grand is what he's targeting. That's his bottom dollar that I know of right now. So I tell him in the consignment process that I'm going to list it a little bit higher to try to garner some money for the both of us, which isn't necessarily true. He's given me an opportunity. I'm going to sell that boat, but there's no doing anything extra for him. I don't owe him anything. I'm just selling the boat for him. I'm going to have to deal with all the prospective owners. It's an easy for him. He doesn't have to have anybody at his house. He doesn't have to have complete knowledge of the vessel or anything that's in it, how it performs on the water, how much fuel it burns, how big is the gas tank, how much water does it hold. I know all this. I've looked up the specs of the boat. I've booked the boat. I know the value. I know everything once that thing's dropped off. And I tell him I'm going to list it a little bit higher because I want to do better for you. I'm going to try to put some more money in your pocket. Why wouldn't you want an extra couple of bucks in your pocket? I certainly do. Let me list it at 40. Let me list that boat for 40 grand. I think I'm going to list it at 40. I'm going to get it cleaned up tomorrow. I'll make some decisions, but I'm probably going to list it for 40. Try to do better for both of us. Okay, man, you know, you're the professional. You know what you're doing. Okay, so the next day comes around, I've cleaned the boat, I've inventoried it. I already knew I'm going to list it at $50,000. And I'm probably going to get a call from the consignee going, dude, I only wanted you to sell it for 30. Why is it listed for 50? Well, I've inventoried it, I've cleaned it. It's the right time of year. It's a great looking boat, man. It books out pretty well. I think we can get 50 for it. Besides, you know, anybody that comes off the street is going to negotiate. And depending on their negotiating prowess, he might talk you down to something, you know, way unreasonable. Let's just give ourselves that buffer. Listen, let me give it a week or two. If it doesn't sell in a week or two, I'll continue to lower the price. Then we're showing flexibility. Oh, no problem, Mr. Shook. That's going to be perfect. So what happens that day? I list it, 50 grand. I get a guy that comes down. Oh my God, this is the boat I've always wanted. Well, perfect. You have cash? You want to finance? I want to finance. Well, it's the worst case scenario. I never want to finance a boat because I know that boat doesn't book for shit. It doesn't book for much of anything.
What does book mean?
Book means the value of the boat that the bank is going to perceive. So NADA has a guide as a dealer that you basically, it's just a blank form you fill out. This is the year of the boat, this is the make, and it gives you all these options that came with the boat from the factory. You pick those options that it has, and it disseminates a value for you, and the bank accepts that value as lore, and they will loan on that boat based on that value. Okay?
Like a Kelley Blue Book of...
Like a Kelley Blue Book for boats.
Okay.
You can also hire a surveyor to say what the boat can be worth $100,000 by the surveyor comes, depending on, you know, how friendly he is. But let's just take NADA, for example. NADA, the boat doesn't quite book as well. So that gentleman who's financed the boat now has to make that up in cash. Yeah, the bank will lend him the 30 grand, but I'm trying to get 50 out of it. So he's going to have to come up with quite a bit more money down. And that's how it happens. The bank's never going to loan on that. They're going to like, hey, listen, it's too much profit for you guys. They want to see your profit at a 10% or below. And something like this doesn't quite book out. It might be even skinnier sometimes. So he's going to have to put a buttload of cash down. You can finance the 30, but you're going to have to put 20 down. Or just pay me cash. Whichever one. Cash is easiest. He goes to finance. No problem. I send the deal into the bank with the book out, his cash down, blah, 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 because I kind of know what they're going to want anyway. They're going to come back and say, yeah, we'll loan it to you based on this. Okay, Mr. So-and-so, percentage rate, all that stuff, I have it now. I'm going to call the consignee, right? I know the bank is willing to loan if the guy accepts, but now I got this consignee to deal with. He still wants 30 G's, and now I've sold it for 50. I'm in the win, but I'm going to make one more call just to make sure he's on my level. So I'm going to call him like, hey, I've got somebody in my office, first day. I can't believe it. He's here. He's got cash. And he's willing to give you 25 grand right now, cash. Are you serious? Well, that's kind of low. It's the first day. Well, the boat looks good. I mean, it's the right time of year, but I don't know if that boat's going to sell tomorrow, man. I don't know if anybody's going to like the boat as much as this guy likes it. This guy said it's the boat for him. He's in. Well, is he willing to negotiate? Well, we're in the process of negotiating. But I guarantee he doesn't want to go over 30. I just have this feeling that he's not going to go over 30. Man, Reinhold, I'm having a tough time with this. I never imagined this. Never imagined being in this position. And I said so soon, but it's a good thing and a bad thing. You're not far off from where you wanted to be. Would you split it with him at $27.50? $27,005. Let me talk to my wife. Can he do 20? No, I can't do 29, man. I'm hung up, but he's in my office, man. He's got the money. Just take the 27, man. Okay. I'll tell you what. You've been a nice guy, man. I don't want to get you in trouble with your wife, man. How about I'm gonna take 5% on this one because I'm a nice guy. Not the original 10% we talked about in your contract. Is that gonna make it a little bit easier for you? Like, it's not much, but since day one, I feel bad. Yeah, man. Are you serious? You'll do that for me? Yeah, man. I'll waive half my fee. Oh, dude, you're the best. Thank you, man. I never thought this would get done so soon. Neither am I, but I'm glad we met. I'm glad you gave me the opportunity. I really appreciate it. Hang up the phone. Sir, the bank called. Fantastic. Everything's good to go. Just go ahead and write me that check. I've got titles and everything. We'll get it all started for you. And that's how the process works.
Wait, so then do the math for me. How much did it end up getting purchased for?
It gets purchased for $50,000 plus tax and licensing. And then hopefully, if I was a smart egg, I would have made some money in financing. Financing would have came back with, hey, listen, we'll give your customer, 12% at 180 months or 10% at 144 months. Whatever the case is, I'm going to go back to the customer and be like, hey, they want 14% at 144, or they want 12% at 144 or 180. I'm going to tell them 2 or 3% higher based on me wanting to make a little bit of money in finance too. Everybody makes money in financing. I mean, 2 to 3 to 5%, not a problem to put in your pocket. The boat sellers, absolutely. The banks say like a very prominent bank we had, we could mark it up 8/4 of a point. So 2 full points. So if your loan was at 9%, I would try to sell it to you at 11%. And I would make every argument why, because you had a 30-day late. Because I looked at your credit report, you had a 30-day late, man. They're going to hold that against you a little bit. Or you had some problems way back when you were getting a divorce and you had a couple of 60-day notices or whatever, but your credit score is decent right now. Your income to outgo, it's good. It's not great. They want to see a little bit higher income, but I can shoehorn this in you. I can call you a favor into the bank, but this is going to be your APR percentage, and it's ultimately can be 2% higher in some cases, and you are paying that on your loan. So the math is pretty simple. I've actually waived my fee. Right, we took $27.50. I was supposed to get $2,750, so I'm going to get half of that. However, what did I gain in the process? I've gained about $1,000 in financing, and I ended up selling a boat for twice as much as the original owner asked for it.
Oh my God.
Okay, now this is an extreme situation.
So who gets that money?
All the time. Well, the dealership that the gentleman works for.
Yeah, and then how much you would get?
You're a model employee. Very little of that. But since I've made such Herculean efforts across the board here, he's always going to kick me down a little something for being shysty.
There's
a shyster fee involved in a lot of this, and the shystier you can be in most owners' eyes, and that's a terrible word. It's just being an impeccable salesman and recognizing every opportunity, taking advantage of that opportunity from the beginning of the process. I told you I'm going to list it higher because people are going to negotiate. What he didn't know is that everybody's going to negotiate, whether they negotiate or not, because I'm the one doing the negotiating. As soon as you drop off that vessel,
you came in.
You don't know what it's sold for. You're never seeing a bill of sale. I'm not allowed to share a bill of sale with you. It's got the customer's private information on it. How do you ever know? You don't know. But it starts with me asking you to sell a boat for X and it being listed for almost twice as much or a considerable amount more. Why? Because you're a dealer, because you have somebody that can come in and knows the gas tank size, knows this, and he can talk about it, and that's of that kind of value. It's not. They know how to play the game as soon as you get in. It starts with beating down the owner of that vessel and making it worth way less during the inspection process. Anytime I went out to inspect a boat, it's not to see if it had a scratch and to mark that scratch on the port side because it wasn't caused by us. I went out there and did that, one, to take note of all that stuff, but to degrade the value of that vessel with the owner. Just like you would drop off this Tesla and I go, really? You let your kids draw stick figures on the window? You know, man, I'm going to have to get that buffed out. You know, that's going to cost you, right? Oh, a little rust here, a little rust there.
So they know they're not going to get what they thought they would get.
They can think what they want, but I'm putting those little thoughts in their head that it's not. I'm creating those insecurities in their head that it's not what they thought it was. And it's smart on my part, because then I can manage the expectation of that customer. Now, in a moral setting, that's smart, managing the expectation of your customer so you don't get a bad rapport with that guy in the end, no matter what happens, because you don't control the market. You don't control what customer walks in there and what the offer is, right? So you're insulating yourself. But the salesman side of that really dictates that you begin to degrade the value of that vessel. You would never do that with a prospective owner. It's the opposite end. Even though he might come in there that day and see, oh shit, what did you guys just get in? And I hadn't even washed it yet. I'm immediately building the value of that vessel, no matter how bad it is. This looks like a floating crack house. Best floating crack house you've ever seen, buddy. Have you seen this thing? Do you even know what you're looking at? Let me show you. And next thing you know, they're scratching your head like, they're like, what the fuck just happened? I swear that was a condemned building or something. It's actually pretty decent. It's got some value. I didn't know that it was made here and that it was used for this purpose. Oh my God.
Yeah, really? A little story to it.
Yeah. And of course I've got some personal experience that I can add, you know, whatever. So that process on both ends starts again, right from the beginning. Hey man, I know they're going to call every time I list that boat for that amount. They're going to call and they're going to question it. And I have the same exact answer every single time. Of course, I want to do better for you. I want to get you more money so I can get more money. But what if it doesn't sell? What if you're impeding the sales process? I'm not. Let's go for the gusto first and give it a week or two. You have a week or two of time? Yeah, no problem. I'll lower that price in a week or two. I'll keep on it. If I'm getting responses, we're fine. He doesn't know if I'm getting responses or not. He doesn't know. I could be sitting for 6 months. I could just be going for a Hail Mary here.